Chapter 4, Part 1. History. Blackstaff, situated in the northern part of County Monaghan, had its origins as a town in the early 13th century during the Anglo-Norman period. The town's prosperity was closely tied to Blackstaff Forest and the valuable resources it provided to the local community and its economies. The area comprised extensive agricultural land, a village where the inhabitants worked the land, and the manor house where the earl, the estate's owner and controller, resided. Besides its proximity to Blackstaff Forest, the manor boasted orchards, gardens, and a lake fed by a river that meandered through the forest and the bog. Blackstaff Village, situated approximately 5 kilometers away, offered essential services such as a mill, a bakery, and a blacksmith. Originally, Blackstaff Manor was a somewhat informal collection of wooden and stone buildings, including a chapel, a kitchen, farm structures, and the Grand Hall. The hall served as a meeting place for village affairs and the venue for the manorial court sessions. As centuries passed, Blackstaff Manor underwent defensive improvements, adopting some castle-like features, including fortified walls and other defense structures. Legend had it that Blackstaff was once a crucial site for the ancient Druid movement, with remnants of stone formations and circular trenches scattered throughout Blackstaff Forest. There were rumors that the Earls of Blackstaff had been under the secret influence of Druids for many centuries. Even in modern times, while Blackstaff Forest is now a national forest with open spaces, many locals still hesitated to venture into it. Those who did rarely strayed from the well-trodden, government-monitored footpaths that had formed over the centuries. One of the most significant aspects of the Blackstaff Bog was the discovery of numerous bodies, including men, women, and a significant number of children and infants, dating as far back as the 5th century. Irish archaeologists believe that these individuals were offerings to the gods of fertility and good fortune. It was widely speculated that the Iron Age bog bodies were also human sacrifices to pagan deities. Bodies placed in a bog decomposed very slowly. The meticulous effort and preparation that went into the killing of these bog bodies suggested that they were not ordinary murders. Moreover, the way these bodies were positioned in the bog indicated that they were not typical burials. For these people, the bogs held a profound significance, and the ritual offerings were intended for the other world. This was reflected in the fact that many of the bog bodies were adorned with neck rings, wristlets, and ankle rings made of bronze and sometimes even gold. Nearly all the bog bodies appear to have met a violent end, with various forms of savagery involved, including strangulation, hanging, stabbing, slashing, and head trauma. Some victims had even suffered multiple forms of brutal violence, which was indicative of the savage practices associated with ancient Druidism. The Druids of Blackstaff formed a mysterious and ancient priestly class that operated for many centuries. Often portrayed as barbarians, they were in fact a highly organized and educated class that presided over religious, judicial, medical, and political matters. Prior to the introduction of Christianity to Ireland by St. Patrick, the Druids were the sole custodians of knowledge and learning. Druids were present throughout Ireland, but Blackstaff, especially Blackstaff Forest, was renowned as one of the primary centers of idolatry and Druidic practices. The Druids were indeed regarded as powerful magicians, and they were associated with various supernatural abilities, including the ability to induce madness. In the pagan and early Christian eras, madness was often attributed to malevolent magical forces, frequently believed to be the work of Druids. Battle-induced madness was also a common occurrence, as the intense emotions, violence, and horror of warfare could drive combatants to madness. Such instances were recorded in the annals of many significant battles fought in Ireland, contributing to the reputation of the Fighting Irish, as a people prone to violent conflict, not only with outsiders, but also within their own families and tribes. When St. Patrick arrived in Ireland in 432 AD, he brought a message of love, hope, and salvation to the Irish people. His teachings encouraged them to abandon their pagan beliefs, including the worship of the Druids' false gods. Prior to St. Patrick's arrival, Ireland was steeped in spiritual darkness, and practices such as child sacrifice to pagan deities were prevalent. These customs were later seen as evil and attributed to the influence of dark spirits, not the one true God. According to legend, the Druids attempted to resist St. Patrick's teachings and sway the kings they advised not to heed his message. They even tried unsuccessfully to poison him. However, St. Patrick's message of truth resonated with the Irish people, and within a generation, the rule of the Druids across Ireland was largely dismantled. Despite this defeat, the Druidic tradition endured in secret, biding its time for a future resurgence when the Druids would once again seek to exert their influence over Ireland.